welcome to the channel, and welcome to Game 2 of my Age of Fantasy Skirmish campaign. So if you haven't seen Game 1 yet, please go and watch that first, because there will be spoilers in this. And just to quickly recap over the warbands so far, for the Goblins we have got Dribblesnot's Sneaky Gits. They are being led by Dribblesnot Flashbang, who is a cave shaman, and they didn't do so well in the first game, i.e. they lost. But Dribblesnot got 2 upgrades. He is now Headstrong, which gives him +1 to morale, and he's a duelist, which makes him -1 to hit in melee. Other than that, everything is the same in the warband. For the Havoc Warrior Disciples, the Beasts That Hunger, their warband is pretty much the same, except Havoc the Exalted has got worse, even though they won the first game. So Havoc the Exalted managed to pick up a chest wound, which gives him -1 to his save rolls. That being said, like I say, they did win the first game, so the Beasts That Hunger are currently on 2 victory points to the Goblins 0. Right, other than that, both warbands are effectively exactly the same. Before we move on to the mission, we need to roll for special objectives. So for the special objectives, we've got green dice for the Goblins, red, black and brass dice for the Havoc Warrior Disciples. Right, so 3 for the Goblins, so that is casting at least 1 attempt to cast or block spells per round. I think Dribblesnot's going to like that. And for the Havoc Warrior Disciples, it's Rage, the first player to knock out an enemy unit. Again, that's pretty appropriate for them too. So, that being sorted, the underdog bonus is now a thing, because the Goblins warband is worth 10 points more than the Havoc Warrior Disciples warband. So for every 10 points of difference, the warband that is worth the least in points value gets an underdog point, and an underdog point can be used during the game to either add 1 or -1 to either their own or the enemy warband's dice rolls. So be interesting to see how that comes into play. Now let's move on to the mission. So for this mission, both warbands have decided to raid the same village. We've got 3 objectives, 1 in the middle, 1 here just outside the deployment zone, and again diagonally opposite, another just outside the deployment zone. The Beasts That Hunger won the roll-off for choosing deployment zone and deployment, so they will get the first activation, and they've deployed in almost a bit of a cluster, a bit of a line, ready to surge forwards towards that central objective, whereas the Goblins have spread out a little bit. So they've got the Troll in the centre, we've got Dribblesnot over on their left flank, and the Archers holding the objective just outside the deployment zone. So going into turn 1, the Beasts That Hunger will get the first activation. Right, at the start of the turn, is there going to be a random event? On a 5 or a 6, there will be. No, there isn't. For all the Beasts That Hunger, their first activation, Grag the Howler has rushed forwards onto that central objective. Now, because of the laws of trigonometry, Swampy Stompy, the Troll, won't be able to complete a charge, because you have to complete in base-to-base contact, and he's going to be just over 12 inches away, so the Archers might be taking pot shots at him. Let's have a look. So Gwang's Twang Gang have adjusted slightly so that all 3 of them are within range to shoot at the Gore Warrior. So they get 1 shot each with their short bows, hitting on 5s. And again, because they are a unit of 3, all 3 of them activate together, because they are a unit as the 3 models, rather than each individual model being an individual unit. Oh, actually get a hit this time. Already they're doing better than the old ones. This will be a 3-up save though. Which passes. So Kerulk the Berserk has activated next, and he has rushed diagonally across here, and he may be crazy but he's not stupid, so he's managed to try and keep the trees between him and the Archers. Swampy Stompy has rushed forwards. He can't get into combat as we already discussed, but he will at least be contesting that objective and preventing the Havoc Warrior Disciples from securing it at the end of the turn. Havoc has also now rushed forwards, and the only unit left to activate for the Goblins is Dribblesnot. Dribblesnot has rushed forward, and he being a wizard, he can now cast a spell. Now, I do keep checking the core rules to see if there's anything in there that says he can't cast a spell after he's rushed, because obviously shooting units can't shoot once they've rushed. But yeah, I can't find anything. Right, so he's going to cast Glare on this nearest Gore Warrior, and because he's wizard 2, this will go off on a 2, and that casts. So this is an automatic hit at Ep2, so this will be a 5-up save, which saves. So he has at least cast a spell this turn, and that's what he needs to do every turn in order to get the special objective. But that is the last activation for the Goblins, so we'll go into the remaining activations for the War Disciples. So for the remaining activations for the War Disciples, Strack has moved forward slightly, making sure he's on that objective, and the other two Gore Reavers have rushed forwards, heading for Dribblesnot. So that will be the end of the first turn, and it's all tied so far. No casualties inflicted on either side, and each side has got an objective secured, with the one in the centre being contested. As we go into turn 2, the Goblins will get the first activation because they finished activating first. At the start of turn 2, we roll to see if there's a random event, and there isn't. For the first activation of the turn, Dribblesnot is going to try and cast Glare on one of those Gore Reavers. The Goblins need to get the first blood, they need to get the first kill in order to prevent the War Disciples from achieving their special objective. So, 2+. What is it? It's a 1. Okay, so much for that idea. I think he's now going to charge him, because you can do the spell at any point during the activation as long as it's before you attack. So he's going to try and charge, well I say try, he is going to charge the one on the left. Now he is a cave goblin, so he gets furious, so he gets 1 extra attack when he fights. So 2 attacks, hitting on 5s. 1 hits and 1's cocked. Right, let's re-roll that. No, that's a 2, so that misses. And I think I'm going to use the underdog point to modify that downwards by 1 to a 4, so that misses as well. I think that's the fair thing to do. And then Gore Reaver gets a chance to hit back. He gets 2 attacks hitting on 4s, and both of those miss. Especially as they're -1 to hit, because he is a duelist. So he will back off an inch, and that will be him activated. Carrick is going to activate next, and he's going to charge Swampy Stompy. Ordinarily he gets 4 attacks with his halberd, but he is furious, so he gets an extra attack, so this will be 5 attacks hitting on 3s. 6s are rending. Okay, so that's 4 hits, but none of them are rending. So this will be 5-up saves, and 2 save, and then regeneration on these 2, so ignoring them on the 5s. Ignores both of them. Excellent stuff from the troll. Swampy can now hit back, so 3 attacks hitting on 4s, and that's 1 hit. Ordinarily this would be a 3-up save, but because of his chest wound he's now saving on 4s, and at AP1 this is going to be a 5-up save, which passes. So no harm done to either side there. Harrick will have to back off an inch. Guang's Twangang are going to loose their arrows at Harrick, so 3 shots hitting on 5s. 2 hits. Saving on 4s. 1 wound. Now, again, he's tough 3, so we don't roll to see if he's knocked out yet until he's taken at least 3 wounds. For the beasts that hunger, this Gore Reaver is going to charge Dribblesnot. Apologies if you can hear the rain falling, that's the joys of having a recording studio in an attic roof with a skylight on a rainy day. So 3 attacks hitting on 5s, ordinarily 4s, but Dribblesnot is a duelist, so it's -1 to hit. That's 1 hit. Save on a 6. Doesn't save, so that's 1 wound through on Dribble Snot. He will attack back, 1 attack hitting on a 5. No, 6 because he's already fought in combat. Nope, misses. So the Gore Reaver will have to fall back an inch. That's about an inch. And just like Havoc, Dribble Snot is tough 3, so he doesn't need to roll to see if he's knocked out yet. The only unit left for the Goblins to activate is Swampy. Swampy Stompy has charged Greg the Howler. He'll get 3 attacks, but only hitting on unmodified 6s because he's already fought in this turn. Oh, there's 1 hit. This will be a 4-up save, which saves. And then Greg will retaliate. 2 attacks hitting on 3s. Both hit. 5-up saves. Saves 1. And then regeneration. That's cocked. It would have been either a 5 or a 6, but to be fair, I will re-roll it because it was cocked. And there we go. Justice prevails. So again, no wounds inflicted on Stompy, but again he will have to back off an inch. Gerulk the Berserk has rushed forwards, heading towards the Goblin objective. Greg has charged Swampy and will hit on 6s because he's already fought this turn. There's 2 hits. 5-up saves. Neither saves. Regeneration. 2 6s again. Okay, Swampy can hit back on 6s. Nope. So again, Greg falls back an inch. Over here, Strack has charged Dribble Snot. He will get 3 attacks, hitting on 5s. That's 1 hit. Saving on a 6. It saves. And retaliating on a 6. Nope. And Strack will have to fall back an inch. And the last activation for the turn will be Trull, who has also charged Dribble Snot and will be hitting on unmodified 6s because he has also fought already this turn. There's a 6. Saving on a 6. No. So Dribble Snot takes 1 wound. He'll get to retaliate on a 6. Nope. Trull falls back an inch. Dribble Snot has now taken 2 wounds. That is the end of turn 2, and no change. Both warbands hold an objective each. The objective in the centre is contested still. The leaders of the warbands have taken a bit of a beating. Havoc has taken 1 wound and Dribble Snot has taken 2 wounds. Again, the Goblins will get to activate first in turn 3 because they finished activating first in turn 2. At the start of turn 3, is there going to be a random event? No. First activation from Dribble Snot, he is going to glare at this guy, and assuming we can stun him or knock him out, he's then going to Scarper that way. Right, so glare going off on a 2-up. That passes, but only just. Natural 6 to save on that guy, which fails, so that's 3 wounds. Does he get knocked out? No, he doesn't. He just gets stunned. And Dribble Snot has then bravely advanced backwards, or rather rushed backwards, away from the other 2 Gore Reavers, which means he will be outside of charge range. They won't be able to get to him this turn. Gerulk the Berserk is going to charge Gwang's Twang Gang. The Goblins get a chance to pile in, for want of a better phrase. Gerulk will get 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's only 1 hit. Oops, just nudged a goblin. Saves on a 6. And it saves. The Goblins get 1 attack each, hit on 5s. That's 1 hit, 3-up save. Nope. No, that's a wound on Gerulk. Yeah, I had to think then for a second. Yeah, then it registered. No, the Goblins have wounded the Gore Warrior. Right, does it knock him out? It will on a 5 or a 6. and it knocks him out. Who'd have thought 3 weedy little goblins have taken down a charging Gore Warrior? I hope that came through, because on the display for the camera that juddered a little bit, but yeah, I hope that did come through okay. Okay, so that happened. That means that the beasts that hunger can no longer get their special objective, because they were not the first warband to knock out an enemy unit. Right, on to the goblins activation. I will just point out though that these weedy little archers so far have inflicted the only wound on the enemy general and just knocked out one of their best warriors. Right, not going to activate them next though, we're going to go for Swampy next. Now Swampy actually took some thinking about, because initially he's contesting this central objective. Now the thing is, I don't think he's going to be able to kill off both of these guys in one turn. So what I'm thinking is that objective up there, but not straight away. I think what he's going to do is charge this guy who's lying on the floor, because if you charge him, that guy automatically gets knocked out, and that will be 2 of the enemy units knocked out so far, so helps balance the numbers a little bit. And then in the next turn from there he should be able to get onto that objective. That's what I'm thinking. Right, that's what we're going to do. So yeah, if nothing else, he'll get him an extra experience point for knocking out another enemy unit. So let's do that. He's going to charge the downed Gore Reaver. So that's what it looks like after the charge, and he's defeated his opponent, so he can then consolidate 3 inches, and that's what it looks like after the consolidation. So that's Swampy activated. On to the beasts that hunger. Now Gore Reavers are crazy, but they're not stupid. So this one, Troll, is going to charge the Troll. Troll is going to charge the Troll. Troll will get 3 attacks hitting on 4s. That's only 1 hit. Saving on a 5. Doesn't save. Regen on a 5. Doesn't regen. That's 1 wound through on Swampy, who can now fight back. Now my understanding is he's currently hitting normally because he hasn't actually fought. He just steamrolled into that downed Gore Reaver. That's the way I'm interpreting that. So he hasn't actually rolled to hit. So he's going to be hitting on his normal 4s. Correct me in the comments if you think I'm wrong. 1 hit. Saves on a 6. Doesn't save. So that's 1 wound through on Troll. Is he knocked out? No, he's not. He's just stunned. Do we kick him away on a 4? Yes, we do. So we can kick Troll away 2 inches. If Swampy looks a little bit out of position, that's because when I tried to move Troll, his axe got caught in that frog that Swampy is holding, and I had to pick them both up to disengage it without snapping any bits of the model. So if Swampy's slightly out of position, that's why. So now we've only got 1 unit left to activate for the goblins, and that is Guang's Twang Gang, who are going to shoot at Havoc. 3 shots hitting on 5s. They'll miss. Havoc's getting a bit fed up with being shot at by goblins, so he has rushed forwards and hasn't made it into combat because he was a bit too far away. But certainly in the next turn he'll be in a position to be threatening that objective, which technically at the moment is contested because he's within 3 inches of it. Over here, Strack is going to try and do what Troll did and make a human roadblock in front of the Troll. So he's charged in, 3 attacks hitting on 4s. That's 2 hits. Saving on 6s. Sorry, 5s, but still non-saved. Regenning on 5s. 1 regenerates, so that puts Swampy up to 2 wounds. He can hit back on 6s. Nope. So Strack will have to fall back an inch. That just leaves Grag, and Grag is going to position himself around here somewhere so that he's on that objective, and then has options for which direction he goes in the next turn, either up that way if he's needed, or down this way towards Dribble Snot. Just measured up, he wouldn't be able to make it to Dribble Snot, so he's positioned himself where he is now, just again so that he's another potential unit that can contest that that objective, that home objective of theirs. So that is the end of turn 3, and at the end of turn 3 things have changed slightly. The Goblins have taken out 2 members of the Beast That Hunger. There's another one of them stunned on the floor. However, the Beasts That Hunger are currently holding 2 objectives and contesting the 3rd one. So as we're going into turn 4, this is definitely going to be the pivotal turn of the game. As we go into turn 4, is there going to be a random event? No, there isn't. The Goblins have got problems. So, can these 3 realistically take this guy down? Possible, but not very likely. Over here, we haven't got enough bodies to take and hold that objective. We can possibly kill one of those Gore Reavers. Ideally we would have to kill 2 of them, and then this guy can always rush onto it. And we've only got 2 guys who can possibly inflict enough damage to do that. Alternatively, we can try and go back for this objective, but that would mean we would have to kill this guy and probably that guy as well. In which case, Dribble Snot would have to rush forwards and try and zap him with a spell, and then Swampy would have to charge this guy and take him down, KO him. Because otherwise they can just simply stand back up again. So at the minute it's looking pretty good for the War Disciples. There is another possibility. Dribble Snot can rush and get within 3 inches of that objective. If he can then kill this guy or knock him out with a spell, then we would be in control of that objective, and then Swampy can contest that one, and this one's already contested, so that would then mean that the War Disciples would have to try and take one of them. Yeah, I don't know if I'm making any sense. I think I'm going to go do or die. Dribble Snot is going to rush this way and try and take this guy out with a spell. So Dribble Snot has rushed forwards, he's going to glare at that Gore Warrior, which will go off on a 2-up. Okay, that's not how that was supposed to go. But on the plus side, the Goblins have now achieved their special objective, because they don't necessarily have to cast the spell, they just need to attempt it. Attempt to cast or block a spell every turn. This is turn 4, so they've now done that. Right, so on to the War Disciples activation. But again, that objective is now contested, so nobody is currently holding an objective. And I think realistically the best chance for the Beast That Hunger is to try and take this one. So Havoc is going to charge the Goblin Archers. With Furious, he will get 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. Okay, that's only 3 hits. All of these are going to be natural 6s to save, because that's what Goblins have. So for all that we've got a rending, finally, it's still going to be 6s to save. And one of them saves. So 2 of the Goblins die. So we'll take that guy and that guy. The remaining Goblin will get a chance to fight back on a 5. And it hits. This is going to be a 4-up save because of Harrick's chest wound, and it saves. So that objective is still going to be contested, because that one remaining archer can't finish off Harrick. Over here, Swampy is going to charge that downed Gore Reaver. That will automatically take him out, so we can then consolidate 3 inches, which will get him to there. And then the Gore Reaver is going to charge him, get 3 attacks hitting on 4s. They all miss. This could be Swampy's chance. He's now got a chance to, if he can stun that Gore Reaver or knock him out, he will be holding that objective. 3 attacks hitting on 4s. 2 hits. Saving on 6s. Neither saves, so that's 2 wounds. Is he KO'd? He's KO'd. Swampy consolidates onto that objective, letting out a bellowing roar of triumph. It's the Goblin's last activation, and it's this archer here. This is quite literally going to be a long shot. He is just within range. He's about 17.5 inches away from that Gore Warrior. He will get 1 shot hitting on a 5, which misses. Never mind, had to be tried. And then for glory, that Gore Warrior is going to charge Dribble Snot. 3 attacks hitting on 3s. 2 hits. Ooh. Yeah, it's -1, so it'd be hitting on 4s, but they were 6s anyway. I've still got dice in my hand. So it is still 2 hits. Saving on 6s. Okay, that is a very lucky little goblin, who will fight back with 1 attack, hitting on a 5. Which hits. This will save on a 3-up. And it saves. So Gore Warrior needs to back off an inch. And that is the end of turn 4. And at the end of turn 4, this objective is contested. This objective is contested. This objective has got a troll sat on it. So that is a victory for the Goblins. So at the end of the game, the Goblins get 2 victory points and 10 points to spend on units, and they get an additional 10 points because they achieved their special objective. The Havoc Warrior Disciples get 30 points to spend on units. The Havoc Warrior Disciples do not get a bonus 10 points to spend on units because they did not achieve their special objective. So, campaign is currently tied, 2 points apiece. So now we need to check for casualties, and the Goblin Archers, they are classed as a casualty because the majority of the models in the unit were knocked out or stunned at the end of the game. So again, we roll a die for each unit. On a roll of 1, they're dead and removed from the warband. On a 6, they recover and gain an extra XP, and a 2 or a 5, they just recover. Right, so Goblins first. Okay, so this unit of Goblin Archers survives. This guy survives. This guy is dead. This guy survives. And this guy survives. So that's a dead Gore Reaver for the Havoc Warrior Disciples. Troll has fallen and succumbed to his wounds. It's raining again, so I apologise for the rain in the background. But for experience, Dribble Snot gets 1 experience point for surviving the mission. Swampy will get 1 experience point for surviving the mission and another 3 experience points for taking out 3 enemy units. And the Goblin Archers, they didn't survive the mission, but they did take down the Gore Warrior, so they will get 1 XP for that. For the War Disciples, Harrick will get 1 XP for surviving the mission, and Grag the Howler will also get an XP for surviving the mission. Stompy is now on 9 XP, so he's leveled up, which means he is 5 points more expensive now, and we roll to see what trait he gets. 3, so he's a specialist, so he gets +1 to rolls in melee or shooting. Pick one. I think it's going to be melee, don't you? We're not going to buy or sell any upgrades for either warband. However, the Beasts Who Hunger have recruited a new unit. We have a Death Reaper. This is Grareth the Skull Splitter. He will be added to the ranks of the Beasts Who Hunger. So that's the end of game 2 in the campaign so far. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did, and I hope you'll join me for the remainder of the campaign. In the meantime, please continue to like, comment and subscribe, and until next time, God bless.